pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If anyone would like to speak in public comments, please step to the podium at this time. Seeing as there's no one that's going to speak in public comments, we have our first item on the agenda, which is a consideration of a motion to approve the village board minutes from the January 24th meeting.
Also moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes for the January 24th meeting. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. The next item we have is consideration of a motion to approve the vouchers for payments in the amount of $6,251,574.18.
Make a motion to approve the vouchers for payment in the amount of $6,251,574.18.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? We'll be abstaining from the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Abstain.
I abstain.
Abstain.
2 abstentions. That passes. You got them all? The next items we have are for licenses and permits. This is for, sorry, gotta get to that list. Thanks. Where's the list? Janelle Scott Henry, Nicholas Hollingsworth, Danielle Millard, and Samantha Ray Peterson. This is for bartenders, operators licenses.
I'll make a
Motion to approve the bartending as read.
Ladies first. I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the operators, bartenders licenses. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. The next item is a temporary Class B beer wine permit. This is for the Heartland Chamber of Commerce. They will sell beer and wine at the Party in the Park on Saturday, July 23rd, 2022.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve that temporary beer license. Class B beer wine permit, I'm sorry. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Abstain.
That motion is carried. Now we have items that were referred from the February 7th Park and Recreation Board meeting. We have consideration of a motion to affirm the Park and Recreation Board approval of the use of the Nixon Park and a special events permit for Heartland Kids Day. This is Erin Guenterberg on July 27th, 2022.
Good evening. My name is Kelly Yogers. I'm the Recreation Director for the Village of Heartland. Ms. Guenterberg is the owner and operator of Lake Country Family Fun. She came to the Park and Board meeting on February 7th, which they made a motion to approve Heartland Kids Day, the suggestion to you guys to approve it. Everything is basically the same. The only difference from last year and previous year events is the bus shuttle. The bus shuttle, they are in communication with Lake Country Lutheran to use their parking lot. Has anything been confirmed since you and I last talked last week about that, Erin?
It has not yet been confirmed.
Okay.
It has not yet been confirmed. We are still in communication with them about moving the shuttle location from where it was last year to Lake Country Lutheran.
And the other concern during the approval process was garbage, but she confirmed with us last week that the garbage they will have a dumpster from Waste Management. Otherwise, I don't think there's any other staff concern on our end. And she has all her food vendor permits that she is aware of at this time. We are still working with Chick-fil-A and what's the other one for their insurance?
All the crumbs.
All the Crumbs. They're kind of a big organization, so they kind of have to go up the chain and everything to get the insurance, but they did have their permits. All the food vendors that she is aware of have submitted the food permit and are paid for. She's also paid for all of her usage of the park that she is using. I believe that is it. The Heartland Kids Day is going to be from 9 to 2, as it was last year. She'll have entertainment on the Fine Arts Center stage. She is also asking to put banners up in the park, one up on the tennis courts and one by the entrance off of Park Avenue. The day of the event, she puts a big Heartland Kids Day sign up in the front by the T-ball diamond. The day of, this was also done last year as well. Otherwise, I personally don't have any concerns. It's a great event. She's always left the park in great shape afterwards, and we've been happy with it.
The signs that will go up on the baseball cage, will those be going up prior or the day of only?
Day of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then the park does not charge for that?
We are only charging for the one up on the tennis courts and the one up by like the entrance. If you look in your packet, because we do have that banner fee policy.
Right.
If you look in our packet, you will see staff assisting putting it up on the tennis courts. It's on the north side of the tennis court fence.
I'm well aware of where it is and
Okay.
what it is and how it's done. I was just asking
Yeah.
if it was going to be the day of or if she was
No,
putting it up prior.
only the ones with the words cut out will be the day of.
So the other ones will be up prior.
A week.
I did pay a
Yeah, you did pay the fee for
I did pay a
it.
fee for that.
Yeah. Otherwise, any other questions or?
I have a question. Don, are you done?
Yes.
Okay. Are you putting up a sign also across Capitol?
No, she is not.
No, okay.
No.
I noticed that most of the insurance policies are expired.
Yeah.
Are we getting new ones?
Yes, I always submit new, it's the time of the year that we do them, they renew in like May or June. And so it'll be resubmitted, that's just the annual renewal, so I can't change the annual renewal date.
Yeah, for instance, this liability one started, it was only for one day, so it must have been just, it says July 27th of '21 to July 28th of '21.
That's
like
last year's
that's last
insurance.
year's.
We'll make
Right.
sure, staff will make sure that she has it, because she did inform me when we were going over the paperwork that she renews it prior to, or closer to the date, so I will make sure and I will inform you guys
mine-
and let you know that it's done. She'll get a
But
copy and.
not just hers, but there were other ones, like this blue one. I mean, all of these except for a couple are expired, or going to expire before that day. So I assume they're all gonna renew them? and we'll
Yeah,
get copies
yeah,
of them?
absolutely.
Those are from food vendors
Yeah.
you're referring to?
Yeah,
We'll review it.
yes.
Yeah, so essentially with any of these, we can't, their old policy has to expire before they can name us as a new policy. We
Right.
did talk with insurance.
I
We
just
are-
wanna make sure that we get those copies
Yep,
on
and
file.
Staff has
Yeah,
talked about that.
Okay.
Erin's been
No
good to
one's
work
gonna
with. She,
lapse.
will communicate prior. We always have a meeting with staff about 2 weeks prior to the event,
Okay.
so we'll make sure, even before that, like the month before, make sure everything's good.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
And as indicated in her application, she may have more food vendors. I think she put several down, but the 3 that we are mentioning that are in the packet have been confirmed.
I'll make a motion that we affirm the Park and Recreation Board approval of the use of the Nixon Park and a special events permit for Heartland Kids Day on July 27th, 2022.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to affirm the Park Board's decision to have Kids Day on July 23rd, 2022, and approve the use of the park for this event.
Quick question, please.
Discussion. Go
Unless
ahead.
I have missed it, is there a key to this as to what those little dots and
Was the
numbers are?
key.
There should be a key. It looks like a little table.
It was printed off an Excel sheet.
It's
so
it's on a different page than that one.
Okay. So one pager. Oh, that one, okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, you see it, Ann?
No, I'll get it. I tore this thing apart for the other, and I have 3 stacks here, so,
Okay.
thank you.
No problem.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you. The next item we have on the agenda is consideration of a motion to affirm the Park and Recreation Board approval of the use of the Nixon Park and a special events permit for Party in the Park for the Heartland Chamber of Commerce on July 23rd, 2022.
I'll make a motion we approve the July 23rd approval of the park for the chamber.
Second it.
It's been moved and seconded to allow the chamber to have the annual Party in the Park. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Okay. The next item that we have on the agenda is consideration of a motion to approve the special events permit for Beer Snobs for Snob Fest, which is June 18th, 2022, Snob Fair, which is August 20th, 2022, and Snobtoberfest on October 1st, 2022.
Well done.
Sir? You gonna present, or you're just in case of, anybody have any questions for the owner?
I
Or-
filled out the packet, paid the fees, I have all the insurance, I have the maps. We've been doing this for 6 years, thanks for the last 6 years, or 5 years of your support of the events we've had. I have a letter that's going out as soon as we get approval tonight to everybody, including, I think there was a note on there, somebody at staff had said that they wanted to make sure that the Heartland Inn people, I have that all, the address for, there's initials they use for the LLC. I have that. So we'll get that out to everybody.
Only question I had was it goes to 11:30, but the music stops at 11, right?
Correct.
Okay, because that wasn't, I didn't see that. All right.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the special events permit for Beer Snobs for Snob Fest, Snob Fair, and Snobtoberfest with the dates listed.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Broken up into separate motions due to the fact that they are 3 separate events with 3 different applications? Or are we willing to take the one?
Either or. The motion was made for all 3, but if someone were to say that they prefer or feel, comfortable, we can break them up.
My question is, do we have any idea of Heartland Inn and what's happening? I mean, will any of these Oktoberfests be an issue?
I have no idea if it would be an issue. They haven't come to the village and said that it's an issue at this time, so
We have not had any plans submitted with any drawings, timeline, anything as of yet, so.
So it probably couldn't get done that fast? Because that's the only one I'm a little leery of, because it will be a new owner there, and that the conversation is had before.
I can assure you that I will go to see the new owners, as I did with Marguerite. When they had the fire, we moved the stage down a little further back towards the pharmacy. If we need to move that back up to where it was, so there's entrance into the parking, we'll do that. Again, I'll make sure that we talk to the current owners, make sure that we have everything satisfied. If there's any issues, then we'll have to address those and move the locations, which means we'll be back to see you. Again, there's no timetable of when this is gonna happen
Right.
and how this is gonna happen. So we could probably what if this till we all turn blue. But in order for us to get things rolling and the bands all signed up and all those type of things in action, that's why I usually bring it at this time, for approval.
Yeah, I think it's fair, Steve.
Pardon me?
I think it's fair.
Anybody else, or did you have any more?
Nope, that was it. I was just-
Anyone
I
else?
want to make sure that's addressed.
Mr. President, I had one quick thing. I did note in my review of the application, which was caught just a little bit ago, was the 11:30 end time. I believe that's probably just to kind of wind things down, because the music does indicate on the application it stops at 11 p.m., but I would ask that the outdoor activities do stop at 11, just to remain consistent with our other events throughout the village, and that was noted in my initial review. But
We always
otherwise,
try to-
no other issues with the permit.
Sorry. We always try to get the band to stop at 11. Crowds yelling, encore, encore. I want to give them a little bit of time instead of cutting them off, but we'll do our best to get it out and get it done. We haven't had any issues the last 5 years, and I don't expect the 6th year to have that.
Disperse pretty fast.
And I think part of that was just with the new application form that
Yep.
designated the differences between some of that.
Yep.
Thank you.
I know our staff wants to go home also, because it's been a long day.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks for your support over the years, I appreciate it very much.
The next item we have on the agenda is consideration of a motion to approve a special events permit for the Kiwanis of Greater Heartland and the Bid Business Improvement District for Heartland's Bark River Bash on April 30th, 2022.
I'll make a motion, we approve the Bark River River Bash for April 30th.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Bark River Bash. Any discussion?
Just have are you guys bringing something forward for the banner approval at a later date?
Probably the banner, you did allow it last year. We're not really changing much on it other than the date. So, you know, it's not like that, not there's gonna be different artwork or anything like that.
So they'll come forward to a future meeting to hang the banner over Capitol? They did that last year.
What is our policy? How soon can that go up? 1 week, right?
They can have it for, I believe it's 2 or 3 weeks.
2 weeks?
yes.
Okay.
And
I
that
couldn't
was our plan.
remember. Okay.
So, this is just, we have certain events designated on that listing. This is not one of those events. We did allow it last year, so I just told them we'd have to bring it forward to the next meeting.
Not because it was the bid that it was allowed, they were joining with.
We specifically listed events for those.
We had discussion last year on whether to put it on the list, but in case no one knew how it was gonna go, so in case they never had it again, we thought, leave it off for now. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
The next item we have is consideration of a motion to approve a reduction in the letter of credit for Phase 1 and Phase 2 of Paradise Trails Development to accept Phase 1 public infrastructure.
So this is a request from the developers of Paradise Trails. It has been reviewed by Public Works and the engineer and the building inspector as far as the work that he looked at there, and there's no issue, and the letter of credit reductions will leave enough in case something would happen to the project that we would need to finish the infrastructure.
So part of that money that's left, there's $7,500. That'll be for miscellaneous landscaping that still needs to be done at Phase 1. So that's why the letter of credit reduction number 2 is worth for $235,356.
Make a motion that we approve the letter of credit for Phase 1 and Phase 2 reduction for Paradise Trails Development
And accept the
and accept Phase 1 public infrastructure changes.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. The next item we have is consideration of a motion to approve Sandhill of Heartland LLC, letter of credit reduction number 1.
Same as the previous one, the work that is done for the Sandhill development is to a place where our engineer is comfortable with the draw number 1 reduction. Mr. Seatman is here if anybody does have questions in regards to anything with that reduction, but everybody is good with the dollar amount.
Make a motion to approve the Sandhill of Heartland LLC letter of credit reduction number 1 as stated.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Sandhill of Heartland LLC letter of credit reduction number 1. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item that we have on the agenda is discussion and consideration of a motion to enter into a contract with Chief Braum related to the 1938 Ford fire truck.
Good evening, Chief Chamberts, Heartland Fire Department. I was approached by Chief Braum about a month ago about our old fire engine number 1, which is a 1938 Ford, one of the first ones that the village purchased for, and the picture is up there. Right now, we're storing it at the Lisbon Fire Station number 2 for the past 2 years, because we don't have any room down by us to store it. Chief Braum approached me. He owns a number of older fire engines, even older than that one. And he got together with some of his buddies, and they have a warehouse, shall we say, in Waukesha. And he offered to either purchase it, or if we donated it to him, they would rebuild it, bring it back up, see what they can get running on it again, if they can get the pump to run. And anytime we wanted it, we could have it back. And if we, at some point, have some place that we can store it again, that we could have it back with no cost to the village. So I just thought I'd bring it to you guys and see what they have. Like I said, we're keeping it at Lisbon right now. They're redoing some things at that station, so I don't know how long they're gonna allow us to keep it there, you know, before they tell us we have to get rid of it, so. It runs. There's not very many people on the department anymore that can drive it, cause it's a dual stick, so. I'm, myself, probably one of the only ones left. I had, for the last parade that we were in with, Mr. Landwehr, I had, Jess Yankee drive it, because he was one of the other ones, and then pretty much Dave Goodluck would be the other guy that would be able to, that's around here that could drive it yet, so.
The place we've used is really is in the parade, right?
But we didn't last year, we did the year before, and, you know, every now and then we do, but again, it's tough for me to find somebody that's able to drive it, so. But it does run, and it has run. They start it up every month or so for us, just to make sure, so.
And
Would they be more interested in buying it or in just letting them have it unless we need it for something? And if we were interested in selling, what type of price are we looking at?
I'd have to research that. I have no idea what it would be worth anymore. He offered to purchase it, or, you know, whatever the village wanted to do. But he also offered if we just give it to him, they would fix it up and rebuild it and repaint it if they feel necessary, and then it would still be our possession, so.
It's nice.
It seems like a neat way to preserve some history.
I say keep it.
And we'd have to keep the insurance on it, obviously.
I believe the only thing,
That's what I was gonna say, there's no insurance. This is a liability-only vehicles. It's not driven. The only time it is used is for a parade, so it is not insured. It's just our insurance, if something would happen, it's covered.
Right, right.
So,
I think it's really neat. I think it's a cool way to have somebody take care of it, then rather than just having it sitting in a warehouse somewhere, it's somebody that's gonna give it a facelift if it needs it, and take good care of it, and if we ever want it back, we can have it back. No obligation, no handcuffs. I think it's kinda neat.
It is.
on that point, the title would change and we would relinquish ownership of it, but we're taking them at their word that we would just be able to use it. Is that?
he
We
would,
wouldn't change title.
yeah,
Oh.
he would be willing to just sign a contract, whatever, you know, and state all that if we want it back, it's ours. He's just gonna work on it, rebuild it, make sure it stays in running order, and
Okay.
then,
And it's gonna be displayed with the other ones in
right,
Waukesha,
displayed
so
with
it's more
all
of
of
a
his other
display.
trucks then.
Cool.
So when you say displayed in Waukesha, can you give me a little bit more, because the memo talked about like a specific retired chief, but we're saying they, so is that like an organization, is that a?
It's just him and a couple of his friends that own other older fire trucks, and they just wanna put them together and then maybe offer them at some point for people to come and look at them, so.
I'll make a motion. I think we should enter into a contract with Chief Braum related to the 38 Ford fire truck.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to move into this agreement with Chief Braum for the fire truck. Any discussion?
What exactly did we just agree to?
Well, that's, I was gonna say, we're gonna go into contract, but we're gonna be able to see the
I wanna
contract.
see-
Yeah,
That's
I
what
will
I'm
bring the
gonna say.
contract
I wanna
back to you
see,
once it's all,
And negotiation.
yes.
Was the intent of the motion?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that it would just be brought to the village?
Bring it to
Okay.
the village for us to approve.
We're not signing it yet.
My idea
Right.
is, but I think along with Chiefs, is that they take possession of it and take good care of it and clean it up, but we still have ownership of it.
we will get a contract, we will bring it back for the village board to view and approve.
So that was the intent of the motion. My apologies if I didn't word it properly. Any discussion?
Can I speak?
Yeah?
I just want to say that I think it's a good idea, but I definitely want to see the contract. It's a beautiful truck, it's history, it's Heartland, and I'd hate to see it just be gone, like we decided that we didn't need that.
I just don't like things going away when it's that, I mean, that's a cool truck.
Mhm.
I'd have her put it in here first.
Well, it's kind of relevant to the last part of our meeting here, when we're looking at this collage that go up
Right,
there,
of
all
the
about the history, so
and-
why would we just move it away?
So I definitely want to make sure we saw that contract first before anything was signed and agreed
Absolutely.
to.
Yeah, he was just probing to see what the village would be willing to do, and we'll get that contract going, and we'll bring that back then at the time.
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that someone wants to preserve history for us, especially when you tell me that it's drivable, but there's potentially about 3 people that can drive it out of 10,000 in the village. So I'm interested to enter into some sort of discussion for innovation on the truck so we can preserve that.
Sure.
So kudos to him. Thank you.
You want to learn to drive?
I'd be happy to try to learn to drive. Happy.
It's a little tricky, makes a lot of noise if you miss the gear.
Any other discussion? All in favor to have that contract brought forward to the village? When it's
Aye.
ready? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Next item we have is a discussion and consideration of a motion to approve a contract with Jefferson Fire for the purchase of an ambulance.
So unfortunately, I thought I had it with me, but I don't, the other memo. I'd started asking around about ambulances since our 2023 is the next purchase of to replace 4352. With the way all the trucks and cars and everything is going, they approached me and said, we have a couple of options for you. So the first option would be to purchase a brand new ambulance. Order it now, we might get it in 23 at some point. They're 18 to 24 months out for the chassis, and then plus the build time. So I believe that was 317, 744. Okay, that would be a brand new ambulance, front to back. He also gave us the option of a remount, so it would be a brand new chassis, which again is 18 to 24 months out. They take the box off of it, they refurbish it, update all the safety stuff that's not in there right now that has to be, and that was around $295. Thank you. And then the third option would be to purchase a demo ambulance from them. So they have ordered it in October. They're waiting to find out if we're interested in that, because then they would change the paint scheme to match what we have now. So that price, I believe, was $290. So over the course of that whole 3, there's like a $20,000 savings, I believe, if we went from a brand new one to a demo. They were figuring, since they ordered it last October already, that it would be in maybe by October or November. And then they would get it all finished, and he stated to me that they would probably use it until March or April, and then turn it over to us. It would be under 10,000 miles on it, and all the warranties are still in place. And it's the same exact design as what our current ambulance is now, so with a few updates. I did make contact with 2 other manufacturers. One never replied to my email or phone message. The other one stated she would have a price to me by the 9th. I never got that price. I called her 4 or 5 times, and I've been ghosted by her, so. Mm-hmm.
I thought that we had looked at just getting the framework, keeping the truck, putting a new box on there, basically.
No, it's the opposite. We get the new chassis and then keep the box. They refurbish the box.
So that's what, I thought it was just the opposite of that we had planned on doing 2 years ago.
No, it's the opposite. The chassis is what we would be replacing, and then they rehab the box, so.
Then rehab the box we have.
Right.
For 20 grand less.
So then in the future, we could do the same thing.
It's always that option. That is one of the few companies that will remount a box on a new chassis for you, so.
That was a big savings over the time.
Right.
That makes sense.
What's the average mileage on ambulance or this one that we're getting rid of?
Right now, I think it's about 75,000 miles on it. The last 2 years, we replaced all 6 tires on it and had to have the front end rebuilt and new brakes on it, so.
Is that reasonable, 10,000 miles? Oh, it says less than 10,000, but even close to 10,000 for a demo for that short period of time?
Yeah, yeah. He actually told me that it would probably be in the 5,000 to 6,000 range.
So your recommendation was, excuse me, to have the demo unit?
Yes.
Is that because of cost, or is that because?
Just,
or
yeah,
you
the
feel
extra
like
savings.
You feel really good about it?
What's that?
Do you feel really good about that purchase?
I do,
As
yeah.
the fire chief, or is it just because of cost?
It's cost, but it's the same layout as ours. I put a committee together quickly, and we looked at the layout of it. It's everything we wanted in a brand new one, and plus a few other things that they throw in because it's a demo unit. So.
Nice thing too is like $5,000 cheaper, and you're going to be able to get it almost a year sooner.
Right.
Yeah, the timeline thing for me is great too. Not only are you saving money, you're getting it faster.
I would like to hold it over for a few months, like at least 3, to see if we can get other bids. But I just wanted to throw that in as we're kind of, I want to see if we can't get, I can't believe with the amount of equipment that we buy that these other companies are like, I don't want $2 million in business every 4 years. That's very, very, very difficult for me to believe. So I want to, that's what I would like to do, is see what, I don't know if our bids are too specific. I'd like to see our request for proposals be very broad, to let them just kind of, throw stuff at us. Other companies, and say, I have this. I'm surprised. I'm not saying, I know you're not lying to me. I'm perplexed that other companies are saying, hey, there's a ton of money to be made with the equipment that you're purchasing year after year after year, but we do not want money from Heartland. I just have trouble believing we don't want a manufacturer to, do sales with Heartland. And I want to look into that a little bit. So that's what I have.
The thing is that you kind of get stuck, because we have stuff that expires. And if we have stuff that's expired and somebody gets injured, or we cannot service our patients, we have a trouble. If we put this off too far, that we may lose this opportunity. But a lot of it's not our control. It's not a matter of let's wait till we get the money. It's more or less, well, when does that stuff expire? When does that expire? That's the day we're done with it. When is that, Chief?
We put our ambulances on a 10-year cycle, so every 5 years there's a different ambulance.
Deal.
Well, the FDS.
Question.
The deal is the expiration, right? I mean, eventually this demo truck is no longer available.
Right. That was my question. There's no guarantee that if you say we're going to hold off a month, somebody else might grab the demo too.
Absolutely.
So there's that potential.
I'm also concerned about the market right now. I mean, you're looking at, rising costs that are happening daily and every minute, right?
Right.
So it's an unfortunate situation that it's forcing us to be a little bit more, pushing the envelope a little faster than we would like. We're trying to get in front of this to be proactive.
Right.
But I do think the market is playing a lot into this, especially in manufacturing right now. It's not that they don't want money from Heartland, they just can't deliver on what we're looking for sometimes.
Right. There was an 8% across the board increase this year from Lifeline Ambulance, which we have now. And most ambulance manufacturers had between 5 and 10% increase. They have no idea what's coming. I mean, the price of $317 could go up to $350 by, 23, and then not have any clue as to when we would get a chassis, because that's just the way Ford's going. Chevy told all of the police departments that if you're buying a Chevy, don't even put an order in this year. So it's crazy.
I guess the question I have too is, you had two other bids out. How many other manufacturers of ambulances are
So
out
the
there
two
we
that
can-
I put out are the closest builders to us. That the one is up in Minneapolis. They sell Braum ambulances, And then the other one sells Horton ambulances, and those are both built within 2 states, same as Lifeline is built in Iowa. So the only problem with those 2 distributors, they don't service the ambulances. They don't have a place to service them. Where Jefferson Fire, I can take it there, and their service would cover the warranties through Lifeline. So, like I said, the Horton ambulance, the Foster coach, texted, emailed the guy, called him, never got a message back from him. The Braum ambulance, I called and talked to her right away, and she said, yep. She says, I'll get you a price, and I told her I needed it by the 9th, and waited till the 10th or 11th and started calling her back, and I have not heard a word back from her. So.
It's crazy right now. Steel costs are insane. I sell large capital equipment, and it's insane. Prices are nuts. They're on the rise. There's no way to even rein it in and understand it. We're giving price increases every month and a half to our customers. Historically, it's been annually. It's a different time right now. If there's an opportunity to buy a piece of demo equipment that's going to save us some bucks, it's going to be worth taking a very hard look at, because to me, I think it makes.
What concerns me is, like, if you look at our police department, we got new police cars, 2 new, and they're both in the garage. You can't use 2 police cars. They're brand new because they don't work. And now we're looking at something that if it's a demo unit that's out there, that's going to have to work. It's going to have to work because they got to impress everybody else. And I don't want us to get in a situation that we're buying something new 25 months out that's not going to work.
Right.
You know, there's no guarantee. So
Also on this ambulance, we're going back to a gas engine. So the diesel engine was another $10,000, and I could get a gas engine for $10,000 less. Plus, then I don't have to supply DEF, which is an extra cost. And that price, I deal with Leo at the DPW, and we order the diesel exhaust fluid together. And we ordered it one day, and Leo was going to get some more the next day, and he called me and said the price went up $20 a bottle. And it's just, all right, why would I want to do that when I can go to a gas engine? So.
In your memo, Chief, it's to the president's comments, and which I think are valid also, right? So we're stuck between a rock and a hard spot. When one of the options you said was one of the manufacturers did not wish to put a price together. Can you elaborate a little bit more? And did they give us any more information as opposed to why they didn't?
So the last time I got pricing, they knew that Rob Little, who sells Lifeline ambulances, was on our department, and they didn't want to bid against him. He's no longer with our department. He retired, so, but they still figure they don't want to bid against him. And this lady that I talked to that said she was going to get us priced pretty much told us at a conference that she was going after every sale that he had, and she was going to outbid him. So I have no idea why. All of a sudden, she's ghosting me now.
If anybody wants to make a motion, now would be appropriate time.
And how old's this truck then?
What's that?
How old's the truck you're getting rid of right now?
How old is it? It'll be 10 years old in 23.
How old is it right now?
9.
9.
What's the options if we kept it for another year or two? I mean, I know we just say 10 years and turn them, but I mean, from a mechanical standpoint, is it? I guess I'm looking at playing both sides. So if we wait,
To give you an example of what you're asking, we used to keep police cars for 3 years. All of a sudden, we're like, wait a minute, if we go one more, the amount that we save by not turning them so quick, we were turning them simply because it got to the end of the warranty, and they thought if something large blows, like the whole motor, it could be not worth it to have it pushed out that far. And even though there's rising costs, we decided to try it, and to the best of my knowledge, it's actually working out very well. We're keeping the cars for 4 years. The expenses are not exuberant in that 4th year by just pushing, and that's an extra 25% that they're running those vehicles. There is additional cost with maintenance for that 4th year, but not near as much as what it was to buy a whole car. So we're literally, every 10 years, we're gaining one free police car, basically.
I mean, is this common that they buy demos, like on a yearly basis?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm just looking at down, a year later, is there gonna be a demo now? It might be 10% more, but.
Well, and on the demo route, so our large ladder truck, that, we purchased that, and that went out as a demo, and then we got it back. I believe it was out on a demo for like a year, but that went all over the
Yeah.
country, and then we got it back, so we got it as the demo price, so they built it.
To our specs, yeah.
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 The other thing now with the demo, like when they have any additional equipment that they have on there, keep in mind, that also has to be maintained. That's one of the things we're running into with the large ladder truck. It's an immense amount of money to maintain it, because you have to, now that's where you start getting into restrictions on it. Has to be, if it's every single year, you're maintaining that stuff because it's part of the equipment. And that's a big cost.
You get the bells and whistles, but it's costly to maintain them.
Yep. And and I understand, I'm not in disagreement on the need at some point to get the ambulance. I just wanted to look into it much more and find out, what's all out there, and look into this some, because we're spending a lot of money. We're spending a lot of money. We just spent
Absolutely.
300. I want a little more time, but that doesn't mean anybody else
If we
has
went
to.
a little bit farther out versus local here, a few others, to Jeff's point, is it feasible? I mean, I know it's kind of, you can ask, that's all you can do, but if it would be feasible to try to get a couple more bids out farther, and then maybe bring it back to the next meeting, and the next thing I would say is, I don't know, the relationship you have, can they hold off a couple weeks more of that demo, put it back on us, and then we'll know in a couple more weeks?
Sure. As far as I know, he could, the demo is ordered.
Right.
It would just be getting closer to production. They need to set the paint codes and everything like that, so.
I think if we could do that, then we can see if there's any, even if it's halfway across the United States, if the price is about the same, then it kind of goes back to the demo, the better deal.
I just want some more time to look at, that's where I'm kind of coming from. I really
But I
want to
just
be able
want
to
to make
look
sure
into it. It's a big
if
purchase.
he has a good relationship, that we don't lose out on this demo, as long as we don't keep it out for 6 months, then I can see obviously that, but if we can keep it within a couple weeks, then that seems feasible. We should be able to get some other additional bids, kind of weigh it out, and not lose, kind of play both ends.
Find out what
not
other
lose a
departments are
bid.
paying for their ambulances, I mean, I know that, now this is private, so it's different, but I do know that, I mean, like when you see on the road, like the Curtis and the Bell, they run them more than 10 years, a lot more. So, I mean, and that's where I was to the point of that, the stuff doesn't expire, but there's a lot of different avenues that can be done. It's finding out what's best for us with the dollars that are there, and I think it's somewhere a little more in the middle.
And as I say, has there ever been a study that, we picked, I guess, the 5-year or 10-year mark, rather, has there ever been a study that 12 is the magic number, that when you start getting into 13, then it's gonna cost you more than it's worth, or is what we're doing pretty much the best?
Is the 10-year, is that a warranty? I know that was come up with a while back, but.
Yeah, I don't know where they came up with that number, but.
Okay.
Or why, to tell you the truth. So, usually, like I said, every 5 years, we rotate it back, so that new ambulance becomes then the second ambulance, and the new ambulance comes out, so.
One thing we gotta remember, though, is we're not gonna bid out for the whole United States to need an ambulance for Hartland, Wisconsin. One of the biggest problems with ambulances is service. And if that person is far away from us and we can't get that ambulance serviced, we're out of business until it's fixed. And that's why I think the chief gets the bids from local people that are within arm's length that can have that repaired or get that equipment fixed. We go too far out, we buy something from Alabama, we might as well say goodbye.
Yeah, but we drive that ladder truck to South Dakota.
I know, isn't that a stupid idea?
It's the same company we bought it from.
From Lifeline?
No, we bought it from Jefferson.
Yeah,
That's the same company that maintains it.
Right, and you're unhappy with that, and I agree with you. That's
I'm not unhappy,
well,
I want to look at the options.
what I'm saying is that the distance that we get a bid from is very important in fire or in emergency equipment, because service it puts us out of business, and that means people can't get life support.
Chief, if you had to describe the condition of the ambulance that currently, is it in need of replacement?
At this time, it needs definitely some upgrades, yes. That has the old cot system in it, so it doesn't have the power load. So those are, the wheels come up automatically, but then people For the larger personnel, they have to have 2 or 3 people on the end to lift that cot into the back of the ambulance. That's one of the biggest things. Just some of the safety stuff, the new safety, the new DOT safety stuff in the back, where there's only 3 seats now for personnel, and they all have to have the 4-point harnesses.
I guess I'm in favor of holding off just a short period of time, just to get a few more bids, just to see if it's in line. Yeah, it makes sense to get it more locally if service is that, but it'd been nice if, obviously beyond your control, if we would've got some other bids, but maybe we can just, in the next couple of weeks, try to see if we can get a couple more bids, just to see if we're in line, to your point, Jeff. And then, like I said, I don't want to delay it too long, that we lose out on the potential of the demo as well.
Ask for our next meeting, or are you?
That's what I'm.
Reasonable, do you think, Chief, to
I'll make as many calls as I can.
count on them as hard as
find
you
out
can? Okay.
manufacturers for.
You think 1 meeting's enough, or 2? 2 meetings would be
I
better.
I would hope I would be able to have, I have the specs there that I can send out to them, so it's pretty easy on their part. They have very little legwork to do, so.
Regarding the specs that we're sending out, do they have room to move those specs? Or do they have to hit those? Because I have heard that before too. Now, some companies, they just won't bid because they're like, ours is not these exact specs. Our box is 1 inch or 3 inches larger or 3 inches smaller.
For the most part, they can match everything that's
Okay.
in that spec. There's nothing special in there.
Okay.
So, it's pretty much just configuration and the way the inside is put together, the way we had spec'd it out, so.
I'll make a motion to hold off on approving the contract with Jefferson Fire for the purchase of a new ambulance until the chief has an opportunity to get a couple more bids and present it back to our next meeting in 2 weeks.
Second that.
It's been moved and seconded to push this off to our next meeting, just to delay it to our next meeting, so postpone until the next meeting. For discussion, one thing I'd like to ask, because it's not in there, could the spec be sent to the board so that we could see exactly what's going out? Absolutely. If that could be sent, sometime, what is it? Yeah, we're on Monday, so, yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. I'd like to just take a look. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. The next item we have is discussion and consideration of awarding contract to Bowland Recreation for the purchase of playground equipment for Centennial Park.
With the 2022 budget process, the village allocated to replace the playground equipment at Centennial Park that was in need of safety. There was a bunch of plastic parts that were cracked. So we received 2 proposals on this scope of work. The one that came in low was Bowland Recreation at $81,312. The next closest one, the other proposal was $110,648. But what's not in this $81,312 is we still need to add wood chips. So they gave us a proposal and it came in at $8,200. And the village, we replace wood chips periodically throughout the parks. So the village will do the purchasing of the chips because we can get them for $6,900. So what we're looking to do, the park board asked and a couple other board members asked if we could utilize and get rubber matting underneath there or the rubber chips. I priced out the rubber chips. They came in at $25,000 and the rubber one-piece matting underneath this playground equipment came in at $92,664. So we opted for the dimensional wood chips.
In a box Band-Aid.
Right. So,
Green grass.
I was trying to hold off for a while on this, but she said that we need to get this ordered because she's not even gonna, she puts in the order and tomorrow, she said she won't receive the equipment till the end of September. And then they'll, install it in October. Guaranteed us that it'll get installed this year. So staff recommends awarding Centennial Playground equipment to Bowland Recreation for the sum of $81,312.
Falconer, is it real size equipment?
It is. There's a picture that was included. They did originally, both companies put a merry-go-round on there, one that's, you don't push, you have to actually pull to get the momentum going. And I asked the question what the diameter was, and they said 5 feet. I said, no, thank you.
Make the motion for awarding the contract to Bowland Recreation for the purchase of playground equipment for Centennial Park.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to purchase the real-size equipment for Centennial Park. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Up.
I was gonna say, do we wanna add in there that the chips are gonna be purchased separately, just so we know? when we
Well, the
get in
chips aren't in there, so I think we'll be fine, just because they're already not in there, so.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll redo that. I'm gonna redo it. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Next item we have is discussion and consideration of the village boardroom mural and which one we want to go with.
I think these, I mean, they're very nice, but I think they're very busy. Is this the original idea for the wall instead of reframing what we had on the old walls? Jeff?
It was my idea. I mean, I don't know if we want to reframe.
I just saw this and just to me it's too busy. I
A lot has happened, you know.
well, I know. But
I think I know what you're saying, Ann. I think it's the very last one where everything's kind of faded around the edges of the pictures. I think that one looks the least busy for that, like there's not so much going on, it's so bright in your face.
Yeah,
Soft, at 6 is for sure the one that I like for that one.
yeah, I concur. I feel like it spreads it out a little bit and softens the
Yeah, it softens the
effect.
edges, yeah.
That was my, my thought as well.
It still shows the history. I like it. I like number 6 as well.
And it has the fire truck in there.
It does
Yeah, and the
have
fire
that
truck's there.
It's right there.
You can't get rid of it.
I'd like to make the motion that we adopt the mural wall concept number 6.
I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt mural wall concept number 6. Discussion.
what is the cost?
Contract was approved a number of months ago, I don't recall.
It hasn't changed one bit.
Yeah,
It's already
I
approved.
forget what it was, but that was all approved by the village board. That was
5 or
part of this whole
7,000
thing,
or
yeah,
something like
5 or
that.
6,000.
How much?
See
5
the
or 6
specific amount.
thousand?
And that was the design all the way through the installation.
Yep.
Okay.
Nothing changed on the price we already agreed to. Perfect.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have announcements.
Announcement on behalf of Flag and Door and Post 294, which is our American Legion Hall right up the street here on Goodwin Avenue. Just thank you to not only the staff here in the village of Heartland for the support that's continuously given, especially from DPW, Heartland Police, and our fire department, but also to just the community at large. This event is becoming larger and larger. The totals are not in yet, so we are still going to be looking at those totals, but it's actually drawing individuals in from all over the state to come to Heartland, so they're able to see the quality of life that we have here and the ability to give back. So kudos to the community, because it literally takes a village to do what the Sons of the American Legion are doing to support our veterans far and near. So thank you. I commend everybody. It takes a lot.
I just wanted to add to that, it was a Facebook photo or something, the flag up there, that was pretty amazing to look at. It just actually made me feel like I was right there to see it, and, yeah. So, thank you.
Job of drawing attention from all around the village when you can see that. My kids actually pointed it out to me. They're like, hey, Dad, look, the flag's over there. And then I got to explain to my kids why and what was going on and all. It's awesome.
Very cool event. Fun time. And for outstanding cause. Any other announcements?
Just want to give a brief update. We kind of talked about the vehicle issues that I talked about in my weekly update last week. We did hear back from our Ford dealership. Looks like the squad that we were hoping to get back sooner rather than later that we got back but had to send back because there were still issues. It looks like it's probably the same issue that we're having with the other squad, which is a transmission issue. There is a wholesaler that has 4 transmissions coming to this area, but none of the dealerships know who's getting what. So we're hoping to get at least one of those to get another squad back online. And then our other issue is we're still on schedule to get our 2 other squads in March from Ford. That hasn't been delayed yet. My only concern is if they have some of the similar type of issues, I'm out of squad cars. So I have to figure that out.
We already sold the other ones.
Yeah, but we can keep these 2. So my plan is to kind of hold on to these other 2 and make sure we're kind of getting the other ones back if the timetables. I have a bad feeling that our timetables may get shifted with everything that's going on right now. And I'm sure Ford's not doing well with everything they got going on right now. So there's a lot there. And I did speak to other Waukesha County departments and what they're doing for squads, and no one has good stories to tell. And the Chief Chamberts mentioned that with the Chevy Tahoes, a lot of issues to the point where they are telling departments not to even put an order in for this year because they're just not going to get them. I know a neighboring agency that did get them, and they don't even have parts for them. So they're just literally grinding brakes right now because they can't get brake pads for the parts. It's definitely a phenomenon I haven't experienced, but it's something we're working through. And everything is under warranty. If we could get it fixed.
Welcome to 2022.
It may not be in a warranty by the time they get the part.
Think being a Mountie?
What's that?
Being a Mountie?
What?
A Mountie.
Oh, yeah. We might have mounted patrol. I don't know.
There's an ordinance about that.
I saw you in my truck.
I saw something on Facebook, and it's not usually that I'll sit up here and talk about Facebook, but I did see something pop up on Facebook today that said Valentine's Day isn't just for, like your spouse or just your significant other and this and that. And it says Valentine's Day is for everybody you love and care about and your family members and that kind of thing. So I just wanted to say happy Valentine's to everybody and to the entire village of Heartland. Okay, we don't have to talk about tears. We can just make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion that we adjourn.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn this meeting. All in favor? Aye. This meeting's adjourned.